Listen to me now. Listen in your heart. Listen to me. I know things you do not know. You need to work. You need to dedicate yourself. You need to take these next few months seriously. You need to stop being a fucking idiot. You need to reflect on your life. You need to feed back. You need to analyze all of the mistakes you've made. You need to stop wasting your time, stop being a dipshit, and stop relying on me for temporary bursts of motivation so that you can focus on something for once in your fucking life. Because time is running out. Act or fail.
As a man, your life is supposed to be shit. My argument to this is people go, oh, I don't feel good. I say, good. Your life as a man is going to be terrible the entire time. Look, life as a man is shit. It's always been shit. It's never been good. When men wake up and say, I'm depressed and life is hard and I'm sad and I'm struggling right now, I say, okay, throughout history, men have always struggled. Happiness is for children and women. Name a time in history it was better to be a man. Was it better to be a man in World War II? Was it better to be a man on the Titanic? Was it better to be a man in the Napoleonic Wars? Was it better to be a man when you were sitting in Vienna and the Mongol horde arrived? When's it ever been good to be a man? Building the pyramids, was that fun? It's always sucked. And I think that the correct mental model for men to have is a degree of stoicism and not to be too concerned with even how they feel. If I woke up today and happy, I would have done this interview with you. If I woke up today sad, I would have done this interview with you. What's the difference? Why put so much importance on my emotion if certain things must be done? I must work, I must train, I must see Tucker Carlson, I must resist the Matrix.
You've got duties.
I've got things to do. So why are we gonna sit around and talk about how I feel if it doesn't even affect how I act? And as a man, it shouldn't, because there's too much to do. And the masculine world is hyper competitive. This is another thing most people don't understand.
Totally agree.
It's hyper competitive out here. All the women want a few men at the top. You don't want a Ferrari to drive fast. You want a Ferrari because other men want a Ferrari and can't have one. It's hyper competitive. So if you're competing against every other man for every dollar you make, every girl you see, the house you live in, the car you drive, the life you live, you're not going to be able to compete with the person who performs regardless of how they feel if you only compete when you feel like competing. Because there's men like me out there who will be sad every day and outcompete you regardless. I don't care how I feel. I will still win. And that's the kind of mindset you need to adopt. So I don't, when a man
You've got a job to do. Stop whining. Go to work.
Completely.
I agree.
Completely.
Yes.
So when men say, oh, but I feel sad. Who cares? The world doesn't care. All the men who are out here to destroy you and take your girl don't care. So why do you care? Like the person who should care least is you. You're the only person who wakes up every day who should have a genuine vested interest in improving your life. Nobody else wakes up and wants to improve your life, only you. So if nobody else cares about how you feel, why do you care? So my argument also for depression is, you're depressed, fine. Have you trained today? Well, that doesn't change what you should do with your life, depressed or not.
I don't ever consider how do I feel. That doesn't cross my mind. I have things to do.
You're too busy to think about that.
I'm too busy. I have things to do every single day. I have very important things to do, and how I feel really is not going to affect how I complete those tasks. When I speak to men, they say I'm unhappy or I need to be happier. I think that's absolutely the wrong frame of life. You're a man, you have duty, you have honor, you have things you should be doing regardless of how you feel. And the people who are perma-obsessed with happiness or sadness, I just think it's the wrong paradigm to view the lens of life. I think you should get up and do what needs to be done.
I am tired of sympathy. Sympathy doesn't work for anybody. I'm not going to sit here and be sympathetic for people who say they're too sad to try hard and be their best. Guess what? Perhaps I was sad every time I did exactly what I was supposed to do and trained anyway. Perhaps I was afraid when I fought anyway. Perhaps I was tired when I worked anyway. This is how you get ahead in life. I don't have a fucking ounce of sympathy for these people who sit here and say, well, I feel this way, so I can't. Then don't do it. Stay down there. The winners are at the top, and the winners at the top don't give a shit about how they feel. We wake up and we perform regardless of how we feel day after day. So if I'm going to ignore my own feelings, I'm certainly not going to take into consideration anybody else's. Yeah. Why am I going to ignore how I feel and make sure I'm constantly performing regardless, flawlessly, and then sit and go, oh, but he doesn't feel good, so he's allowed to fuck up. No, you are not. You're not allowed to fuck up to your ancestors or to God or to yourself. You have to perform. This is what being a man is about. The baseline of masculinity is doing things you don't feel like doing. I can't comment on being a woman because I'm not one. But the baseline of masculinity as a whole is the thing that makes a good man a man is that he does what he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to work and he works anyway. He doesn't want to go to war and he fights anyway. He doesn't want to get up, he gets up anyway. That's the whole point of it. We didn't want to die in the Titanic. Guess what happened? We died in the Titanic. You can't sit there as a man and say you don't feel like it. You're not allowed to not feel like it. You're supposed to do it anyway, regardless. Yeah. So when a man sits there and says, oh, but you don't understand, I'm struggling with motivation. If you are struggling with the motivation to be a winner, then stay a fucking loser. No problem. Stay a loser. Don't care. Because in my circle, there's no losers around me. Your energy is disgusting. I find it revolting. I don't like weakness around me, even near me. Even people coming up saying hello to me. If you're depressed, don't even shake my hand. I do not have time for losers on any regard. Winners only. How do you have time to be depressed? You have so much you could do. There's so much that you need to do to be your best self, and you're competing against men like me, and you're finding hours a day to be sad? No wonder you're gonna perpetually lose forever. That's suicide. So how do you find time to do this? It's brutally ineffective. You have a brain, you have a mind, you have a mental model. You can't think of everything, you can't do everything. You can only have certain frameworks instilled inside of your mind. As a man, you should be hyper competitive. You should try and be the best version of yourself you can be. You're competing against every other man on earth for the girl you want, the car you want, the house you want, the watch you wear. It's all competition. You should be as competitive as you possibly can. Anything that's inside of your mind which doesn't allow you to be competitive should be erased. This is why I can't name a weakness. I can't name a weakness I have. I've compensated so heavily for any weakness that may exist, I don't even see them anymore.
Nobody, absolutely nobody, gives a fuck about you as much as you're gonna have to give a fuck about yourself. Nobody cares about you as much as they need to care to fix your life. Even your parents, even your friends, even all the people who think they care about you, they care about you. Yeah, sure, there may be 2 or 3 people on the planet who genuinely care about you, but nobody is gonna come to your bed, drag you out of bed, fucking drag you to a job, force you to work hard, go and get you a hot bitch and go and buy you a Ferrari. Nobody is going to do that for you. You are never gonna have any of the things you want if you do not get them yourself. Nobody cares about you enough to do it for you. This is absolutely true. I don't believe that there's anyone here to save me on this planet. I am me. I was born. I have maybe, if I'm lucky, 70, because I'm quite big. When you're physically large, you die sooner. 70 years of consciousness. And these years I experienced, the only person who's gonna make them fun and exciting and interesting, the only person who's gonna make me happy and live a life that I want to live is me. Nobody's gonna do it for me. There's no one else who wakes up each day and goes, you know what? I wanna make Andrew Tate's life better. I wanna get him more money. No one thinks that about me. No one thinks that about you either. Nobody thinks that about you. The only person who gives a shit about your life truly is you. And if you don't give a shit, then you're fucked. But point 2, get angry. You're gonna start giving a shit very soon. And after you get angry, you need to realize that nobody is gonna give you the things you want. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump is president or not. But it doesn't make a difference. No politician is gonna make you rich. No one else is gonna come along and say, I'm gonna concentrate my effort on fixing your life. Nobody. You have to understand you are out here alone, absolutely alone. And when you understand these 3 things, you start to see how a mindset comes together. Nobody's gonna save you. You're fucked. It's totally down to you. You're pissed off with your current situation and you wanna change it. Plus you believe you can do absolutely anything. This is how I thought at 18 years old. This is how I achieved so much in the short years. This is how I went from a nobody to a world level athlete and a multimillionaire. Also, people confuse the two. Kickboxing is not boxing. I made across my entire career in kickboxing, maybe about 700,000. I now have about 8 or 9 million. This was not made in kickboxing, this was made in other ventures. I have managed to be a world level athlete and an extremely successful businessman at exactly the same time. Because at a very young age, when I had my prime resource of energy and power at 18, 19 years old, I understood those 3 tenets. I believe I can do anything. I'm pissed off I don't have the life I want. And nobody else is gonna give it to me. These are 3 things you need to understand. If any one of these elements is missing, you'll never have the right mindset. The G mindset will never formulate if any one of these elements is missing. All 3 are absolutely essential. And the sooner you get your act together, the sooner you start to panic and worry and be concerned that you're 24 or 25, you're not fucking rich yet. There's 24 and 25-year-olds out there who got a contract for a fucking NBA, or their parents, or they won the lottery, or who knows what. There's 24 and 25-year-olds out there who are multimillionaires, and it ain't you. And that needs to piss you off. You need to get concerned, you need to get worried, shit, I'm running out of time. You need to get some urgency in your life.
Depression is another weapon they use to destroy our masculine energy, right? That's another weapon they use, because the majority of depressed people are men. Men suffer from depression more than females, because a man's life is worse than a female's life. A man's life's much harder, right? So another way they destroy us is they convince us to be absolutely selfish. Depression is nothing but extreme selfishness. That's what I'm gonna call it. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not real in a second. But if you're depressed, you're living inside of your mind, you're obsessed with how you feel, you don't care about anything outside of yourself, and you're an exceptionally selfish person. That's all they're trying to do, is convince you and teach you to be extremely selfish. Let me tell you something. If you have children and you kill yourself, you're not a man. I don't care what you're feeling. I don't care how sad you are. You have children to take care of. You're going to embarrass your children. You're going to leave your children without a father.
Andrew, can we say that one more time?
Because you're sad. If you have children and you kill yourself, you were never a man to begin with. Absolute garbage.
Facts.
Garbage. And the only reason this crap happens is because of the acceptance of depression. People say that depression is stigmatized. It's the complete opposite. It's accepted now to the point where it's almost promoted. It's insane. Let me tell you something. Depression is not real. Feeling depressed is real. You can feel depressed, but you feel depressed, and that is a natural biological evolutionary trigger for you to change something in your life. That's your own mind telling you you're unhappy about X. If I went to jail today, I'd be depressed because I'm in jail. I haven't caught depression. I don't have a disease. I'm just upset with my situation. I have people mess with me all the time. I'm fat and I can't get a girlfriend because I'm depressed. I'm like, no, pancake lover. You're depressed because you're fat and you can't get a girlfriend. Do you understand? This is the point, right? So for a lot of people, your life is depressing. A lot of you out there, if you're sitting there and you say you've suffered from depression, you probably live a depressing life. You probably live a depressing life. So if I was you, I'd be depressed. But if you were me, you'd be happy. Do you know what could solve depression for most poor people? $1 million in the bank.
Yeah.
Boom. So how is it a disease? So when I say this to people, most of them agree and they go, okay, but if that's true, why do famous people kill themselves? And I say, well, I know you think you outsmarted me, but I'm Andrew Tate. And I have the answer. The reason is twofold. This absolute acceptance of depression and acceptance of weakness. When you accept anything, to a degree, you're promoting it. Weakness is promoted now in men. That's the whole point of it. You need the negative. The negative is everything. This is what people don't understand. All the dark times, all the bad times, all the negative things that happen to them, that's the only thing that actually generates happiness for you. The happiness isn't happy in and of itself. It's a reflection off of the negative. You need the negatives to be happy.
When I say I don't believe in depression, nobody can convince me to believe in depression. That's not a matter of discussing whether depression's real or not. That's a matter of me accepting that my mental model for going through life is more effective if I don't believe I can become a depressed person. I don't believe in depression, so I can't be depressed, so that allows me to be more effective. It's not a matter of sitting there going, well, maybe it's true, maybe it isn't. I don't believe in it, so I can't catch it.
You shape your own reality through the conviction of your thoughts, your beliefs, and the words that you use.
Why else would you adopt any kind of mindset unless it's designed specifically to make you competitive and make you win? You install the software in your mind, right? So if I'm going to install software in my mind, well, I've tried very hard to create it.
Right, because wasn't it installed by your upbringing? Wasn't it installed by your mother and your father in some way?
Good question.
Before you were conscious, while you were just a developing child, like something got programmed into your psyche that has to have an impact on you. And those things can't necessarily be known because you were at such a young age.
Absolutely. We're all programmed to some degree. I agree with you on this so far. I don't think anybody can escape programming, whether it's society, whether it's a television show, whether it's the people around you, peer pressure, whether it's a religion. We're all programmed to some degree. That's absolutely not really true. What I have done, and what I think most people do not do, is heavily analyze why I hold the beliefs I hold, why they help me. If I don't hold the belief personally, or if I didn't learn it from personal experience, I know where it came from, who tried to teach me that, whether their intentions for me were good or bad. And I've tried very hard to have my mindset rigidly analyzed and make sure that it's put together in a way which benefits me completely and absolutely. And I do not believe in things that take away power from me. Right. I refuse to do that. I would rather say that they are not real. And people will sit here and argue to the end of time that they are real, but they're not real in my world. And I live inside of my mind. So even if you throw me in a Romanian dungeon, the idea that I become a depressed person is not a framework that my mind works within, so I can't become depressed. I can feel a little bit sad, sure, I can feel depressed, but I can't be depressed. They're very different things. So that's just the mindset I've installed, and it's allowed me to be competitive. And I believe, personally, my personal beliefs are that life as a man is hyper competitive, and whatever software you have in your mind should be designed to make you as competitive as possible, and you shouldn't be believing in absolutely anything else.
I think we've all evolved to sense and seek power. I think this is the reason why we train in the gym. It's the reason we try and get money. It's the reason we try and show status. It's the reason why men of old used to walk around with swords and just kill anyone who was in their way. For power. This is who we are, right? And this is the same thing that men do now, but it's on a fiscal financial battleground. This is why men are more motivated to work so hard and get rich than females on average because men want to feel powerful.
So you talk a lot about purpose, and what is your thoughts as to, do you have like an exact answer as to why we are created as humans and why we are here? Like, what is the purpose of life? Why have we been given life?
I think we're here to struggle and to learn. I don't think we're here to be happy. That's why when we keep going back to the happy argument, I've always found that kind of frustrating and annoying. When someone goes, oh, but I want to be happy. Why? Why do you want to sit there and laugh like you were happy your entire childhood? That's your happy days. You're allowed to be happy as a kid. It's all over now, right? You're a man. You have responsibilities. I think we're here to do important. Provide, protect, and we're also here to do important things. And important things are going to be difficult, and they're going to be hard, and you're going to get frustrated. But that's what gives you purpose. I don't see anyone who's chasing happiness. I think that's a very feminine frame. I understand why some women just want to be happy. I don't know how it feels to be a girl because I'm not one, but in my experience, I know women who just want to be happy. Girls just want to have fun. Fine, but you're a man, right? And if you're a man, then it's absolutely an utterly different experience of life. I think we're here to struggle. I think we're here to endure pain. I think we're here to just see how hard we are to kill. I think that going through terrible things and living through them and coming out the other side is one of the most fantastic things about being human. I think that it's almost like once you understand what life is really about, there's no emotion which isn't enjoyable. The only emotional state which can be seen as detrimental is feeling nothing at all. But if you're sitting at home and you're feeling truly heartbroken, at least you're feeling something, right? And I think that's the whole part of being human. I think we're here to struggle. I think we're here to go through pain. That's so I wake up each day and go, what can I attack? What problem can I solve? And look at history. Why did Genghis Khan wake up and want to conquer the whole world? Why did Napoleon conquer the world? Why did Alexander the Great conquer the world? You just wake up and just say, give me this, give me that. I want all of it. I need to, there's an army there. They're really big. We're better. It's intrinsic. You need to go and conquer. That's the purpose of life.
But why do you think that we were created here to do you believe that God created us? So why did God create us to struggle? Like what is it?
Because if you don't struggle, you don't learn. God created us to learn and understand ourselves and understand other people and understand the world. And what did I say earlier? I said that you don't learn a lesson or you don't appreciate something without pain. So you have to struggle to learn anything. There is no light without dark. You will not appreciate your six pack unless you didn't have one and you had to earn it. That's how the world works. So when I talk to these dudes like, oh, but it's, you know what, Tate? Yeah, I agree, but it's hard. It's hard. Of course it is. It's supposed to be. And if you're not cut out for it, then fuck off and live a normal existence and die. That's your decision. If you want to level up your character, then you need to get out here and do it. You need to be around brave men. You need to get some balls. You need to get your network together. Listen to the truth. Humble yourself. Stop sitting there with an ego. Realize you ain't shit. Most of you fuckers could go look in the mirror right now. And if you were totally honest with yourself, go look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. That's the game. But I made myself this way. I wasn't born this way. I absolutely and utterly made myself this way. And any single one of you men out here can do the same thing. As a man, you have to control your emotions. So I don't give a shit if you're depressed. There's no excuse to not be an adult and make sensible decisions based on discipline alone. I'm too depressed to train. No, you lack discipline because I've felt miserable. Every single person has. I didn't miss a gym session ever. So I don't believe in that crap. I don't believe in it. And I don't believe in it because I know that the true cure to fixing people is to tell them, here's the example I gave. I said, if I moved into a house and I heard squeaks in the night and I don't believe in ghosts, I'm going to attribute it to the wind and go back to sleep. If I move into the same house and hear the same squeaks, but I'm a big believer in ghosts, I'm going to start being scared. I'm going to call an exorcist. I'm going to say it's a ghost. So my point is, the same situation gets worse based primarily on my beliefs. If you don't believe in depression, you can't be depressed. All you can be is, okay, I feel a bit pissed off. Time to get up and go get it. Let's hit the gym, bang, hit the club. I'm gonna make some things happen in my life. But if you do believe in depression, the second you feel sad, the first thing you do is sit down and go, this isn't my fault I feel this way. I have a disease and nothing's gonna make me better. And you're gonna get worse. So this is the whole point. My point is that depression is a natural instinct inside of men. And it's something that is designed to show you that you need to change something about your life. If you go to jail and you're depressed, it's not because you've caught depression, it's because you're in jail. This is why. So if you feel depressed, you need to wake up and go, well, why am I depressed? And how can I change this? I had people message me saying, you don't understand how it feels. I'm fat and I can't get a girlfriend because I'm depressed. I said, no, you're depressed because you're fat and you can't get a girlfriend. I say depression isn't real because I speak in absolutes. I think the idea of feeling depressed is real. I don't feel like it's a clinical disease that you catch from the sky and it can't be fixed. I feel like depression is feedback, pain is feedback, and your mind and body is telling you something must change. And if you make those changes, you will feel happier. I don't buy into the idea that it is a disease. I think it's situational, and you must change your situation and your actions and your decisions to feel better. And that's why I say it's not real. It's not a disease.
My point is this: feeling depressed is real. Everyone can feel depressed, but depression as some disease you catch from the sky that cripples you and you can't do anything about is not real. You have depressing situations that make you feel depressed. The only thing you can do is change that situation to make yourself happy. There's no other way out. If you're fat and lonely and broke and depressed, you need to stop being fat, stop being lonely, and stop being broke, and you might feel better. So if you can respect your own word and say, you know what, I'm depressed, whatever. I'm going to the gym every day. I'm losing 20 pounds. That's what I'm gonna do. And you stick to it, you'll be surprised how much better you feel. You'll be surprised how quickly you start to think, you know what, I can do this.
So when people come to me and go, oh, I can't, I'm fat and I don't know what to do because I'm depressed. I say, no, you're depressed because you're fat. You go the other way around. So that's the first thing. Feeling depressed is real. But this idea that you can walk through life and everything's fine and you can catch depression from the sky like a disease and it strikes your brain and there's nothing you can do about it. And no matter how hard you try, you are depressed no matter what. This is garbage. This is complete garbage that's been propagated by the weak-minded.
So if you're depressed, you have a shit baseline to build a great life off of. Fantastic, good. But you need to be man enough to get up and do something about it. To sit there and cry your eyes out and think you're gonna take a pill is garbage. And this is what the world wants. The world will tell you that, but it's not the reality. Everyone has the ability to be depressed if their life is shit. And everyone has the ability to be happy if they live the life they want to live. There are some famous people who say they're depressed because they may not be living the life they want. If you live the life you want to live, you're going to be a happy person. Depression is an evolutionary mindset we've evolved to stop us from living lives that are shit, stop us from just sitting around doing nothing. Otherwise, we wouldn't do shit with ourselves, would we? We would just sit around. I'm sitting beneath a mango tree. I can sleep here. I can eat mangoes. I'm going to just stay here for 8 years and die. The only reason we get up and do shit is to prevent ourselves becoming stagnant. That's all depression is. So you got to get up and fight.
So if you're sitting there feeling depressed, it's because you know you're lazy. You know you're not working very hard. So when I feel depressed, I accept that I just feel depressed. I don't believe I have depression because I don't believe depression is real. I feel depressed, and one day I'll stop feeling depressed because I can't have depression because it's not real. A ghost can't haunt you if you don't believe in ghosts. It's just a noise. Gives a shit. It's the wind. Whatever, going back to sleep. So by believing in it, you give it power. I refuse to believe in things that take power away from me. For the same reason, by extension, I guess you could also say I like to believe in things that give power to me.
Feeling depressed is real. But the idea that depression as a disease will strike your mind from the sky, no matter how good your life is, and there's nothing you can do about it, is not real. You feel depressed because you're reacting to your situation. The reason jail is a punishment is because you're depressed in jail. If you were happy in jail, then it wouldn't be a punishment, would it? So you're reacting to your external stimuli. So if you're unhappy and you feel depressed, then there's something in your life you need to change. If you refuse to change that, then you will stay depressed. That's not called a disease. That's inaction. Inaction is not a disease. So I've had people come to me and go, oh, I'm fat because I'm depressed. I'm like, no, you're depressed because you're fat. Yeah. Like they got it the wrong way around. So you're always going to pay the price for an action one way or another. And this whole idea that, oh, depression, boo-hoo, poor me. And all they're doing is looking for sympathy. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'll tell you now, man, like if you're fat and you're home and you're lonely and you have no girlfriend and you're depressed, taking a pill, okay, maybe it will mask some of the symptoms, but you still have no girlfriend, you're still fat. Like, wouldn't you rather just go gym and get a girl? Really? And this is another thing about the depression thing. If depression wasn't an excuse for people, I was talking to one guy approached me in my inbox and he was quite nice. So we had a conversation. He was saying how depression's real, blah, blah, blah. I said, listen, if you're not using depression as an excuse for your failure, and it's genuinely a plague on your life, and you see me, who has never been depressed, ever, surely you should be trying to adopt my thinking as opposed to trying to change mine to yours. Like, surely I know something you don't know. If it's not an excuse and you really just want the cure, well, I'll tell you the cure. Think like me. You know, oh yeah, but you know, you have motivation. What does that mean?
I don't care if depression is real. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't believe in something that takes away power from me, because I can't become depressed if I don't believe in depression. And that allows me to shield my mind from the idea of being a depressed person. I can feel depressed temporarily, but I can never become a depressed person because it doesn't exist. You can lock me in a Romanian jail cell for 93 days with cockroaches. I will not be depressed. I will feel a little bit sad, of course, but I will never become a depressed person because I don't believe in it. And when I say this, depressed people are like, no, depression's real, it's ruined my life, it's taken everything from me, depression's real, depression's real. I said, you sound like it's promotional team. You sound like it's
their
PR
God.
team.
It's their God.
They're
worshiping it.
You're worshiping it because it gives you a cure-all excuse for your monumental failures, as opposed to waking up and going, you know what, maybe I'm a fuck up. Nothing to do with depression. Maybe I've just been fucking up. Maybe depression isn't real and I've just been fucking up and I should fix a few of these things. And you'd be amazed how depression will lose power over your life and lose its ability to destroy your life if you stop giving it so much respect and just wake up and say, let me fix X, Y, and Z.
I think a lot of people don't understand the reasoning behind why a lot of this garbage, such as depression, is propagated and supported by the media and Hollywood. Okay, if let's say you're in Hollywood, you have 100 million followers. Do you think you can just say whatever you want? Do you think you can just say your opinion? Or do you think there's people who say, no, you can say this, you can't say that. You can say this, you can't just have 100, 200 million followers and start spouting your mouth off about what you think. Because you're controlled, because you're part of the agenda. You're basically
they got
God.
publicists, they got this, they got that, yeah.
You're basically God to people, you know, you're worshipped and everything you say has weight.
This is the reason why they try and convince the whole population they're depressed. Depression is a low energy state. You're not going to go to revolution if you're depressed. If you're depressed, you're obsessed only with how you feel. You're self-obsessed now. You're a depressed person. You don't want to go outside. You don't want to do anything. You don't care about the world. Right. You only care about you. You're worshiping Satan if you're going to sit there depressed. I don't care if I'm depressed. I have things to do. And I am not going to allow people I care about to be at detriment. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm a full-grown man. I have things to do.
That's the reason they will get all these Hollywoods tweeting about depression all the time. So why is depression as a whole, let's stay on the depression subject, because it's one of many. There's many, but let's just stick to this one. Why is depression as a whole propagated by the machine? And the simple answer is because when people are weak-minded, it's easier to control them. So if you have a society, all you need is a few strong-minded men, a few brave men to do the law enforcement and go die in a desert somewhere. And everyone else you just want as a tax slave. You don't give a shit about their happiness. You just want them as paying taxes, doing a job they hate, depressed, but so they don't rebel or resist or think for themselves too much. Because if you're depressed, you're self-obsessed. If you're depressed, you're selfish. If you're depressed, all you think about is what's in your head. You don't care about the world anymore. You don't care about anyone else. You don't care about society. You don't care about other people. All you care about is yourself. You're caught up in this spiral of self-obsession. I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed. They want people depressed. They want you sad and going to work and coming home and taking your pill and doing your job and paying your tax. And especially as a man, I mean, they care a little bit about women happiness, but the world doesn't give a shit about men being happy. They don't care about men being happy at all. We were the fodder to die for the longest time. And you look at the life of, there's many men in America or the West today who are going to work, working hard, making money, coming home, and they just keep going to sleep, getting up and going back to work. And it's just a never ending cycle. And it's just a depressing existence. Do you think the government gives a shit? No, it doesn't care, but it doesn't care. So this whole depression narrative is propagated, is supported, it's insulated, and it's pushed on people because the weaker someone's mind is, the less chance they are to wake up.